What's 100% a scam, but we accepted it in our society? College bookstores. Don't buy any of the listed books for a course. Wait until you're a couple days into the class to see which ones are really required and which ones are just suggested reading. Pirate any required ones you can. Buy the remaining ones on Amazon with 2-day shipping. Profs expect that no one will have their books the first week of the semester anyway. Profit. Well, okay, save a ton by buying only 10% of the books they said you needed. Step 3.5. See if the university library has a copy on the short-term shelf. One semester I had a class where 2 copies of the textbook were available to check out on short-term loans. I think the loan time was about 24 hours. I would go to the library, check out the book, read the required chapters in an hour, and then turn the book in again. I made sure to not wait until the deadline with that class, but the book was always available when I went. Step 3.6. If the book is needed for part of the semester only, you can just regular check out the book. For my school, a standard loan was 4 weeks and then you could renew twice at 2 weeks each. 8 weeks is plenty for some books, and if it is not, then the library late fee is cheaper than buying the book. This doesn't really work anymore. College books will come with a code inside, that is needed in order to register for the course online. The professors will regularly use this online course to issue assignments. If you do not have a code, you can kiss 20+% off your final grade for taking a 0 on all assignments. The price of printer ink. Laser printer, my friend. Game changer. My Canon gets thousands of sheets per cartridge and it doesn't expire/dry out. That health insurance doesn't cover your eyes or teeth. Our universal healthcare doesn't cover that either. Same in Spain. Which is extra frustrating for me and my family because eyes and teeth are literally the only healthcare attention we've ever needed in my life. So we've been just paying taxes and also had to pay for our needs. I have friends who lived for a few years in France and even glasses are subsidized there. If I was French, I'd have saved thousands of euros over the years. It's ridiculous. TurboTax. They lobby the government to make it difficult to do taxes without their software. I lived in the UK and it took literally 15 minutes to do taxes on bad government software. The IRS offers a free alternative available on their website for most people. The IRS also has no advertising budget. Hence why nobody knows about it. Free Tax USA gang, rise the fuck up. Used Free Tax USA for the first time last year. Never going back to TurboTax. Never heard about Free Tax USA, but I'm gonna try it out this year. Been using TurboTax for over 10 years, I see commercials that promise it to be free, but every year it gets more expensive. I think they charged me over $80 for last year's taxes. WTF. I'm a CPA and I use Free Tax USA, if that says anything. Fuck into it. Go through the IRS website to use Free Tax USA BTW. That way it'll be 100% free. I know some people went through the FTU website itself and were charged. Go into TurboTax and download your previous year's files if you don't have them before you walk away. I learned that the hard way. Unpaid lunches that extend your workday. One place I used to work would bring lunch for the last 3 days of the month. If they provided lunch, they didn't have to pay overtime for an hour. They were known as hostage lunches. I would submit a doctor's certificate saying I was on a special low FODMAP, whole burrito, lobster, and tomahawk steak diet due to gut problems. They would either provide me some crazy meal, segregate me, or pay the overtime. Diamonds. Thank fuck my wife is a geology nerd. I picked out a raw uncut diamond ring for her and saved heaps. Since a lot of people have asked, it was purchased on Etsy for less than $500. That specific storefront no longer exists, but there are several alternatives. They claimed the stone came from a mine in northern Canada, although I have no way to verify that. Do some Googling, you'll find a bunch of examples. Keep the alternative non-traditional ring suggestions coming. Lamau, I always listed that on my advantages for dating. I'll be excited with any rock that looks cool and that I can identify. Got a polished amethyst? Cool. A round labradorite that shines red? Oh great. A piece of dried lava you picked up on your trip to Iceland? Even better. Wait, you have found a ton of Maldavids as a kid and didn't know how rare they are? Google's a wedding dress. Edit, dear fellow nerds, this is awkward but a human capable of social interaction has already adopted me. Edit 2, it wasn't my intention to humble brag but I even got a parody, it's hilarious. I recently discovered moissanite. Let me tell you. It's 100,000% better than a diamond and cheaper. All diamond experts hate it to a T. Proposed to my GF back in Sept with a moissanite ring. 1/10 of the cost, you get a bigger rock, looks amazing and zero ethical implications. Congratulations. Honestly, once moissanite becomes more popular and mainstream, the jewelry industry is going lose their shit. Then all diamond stores are closed down. There are no reason to buy diamonds anymore. No one ever buys them back. No jewelry store ever buys diamond back. Proof of consistent rent payment does not improve your eligibility for a mortgage. Edit, just amazed at the number of upvotes on my completely wrong comment. Oh, we see you're paying $2K/month in rent but you'd like a $1K/month mortgage? No, go away, you can't afford it. About 10 years ago, I lost my job and had to take a lower paying one for a while. I was covering all my bills but money was tight. I looked into refinancing my house as I could drop my monthly payment by almost $400, which would help a lot when money was tight. I was told by the bank that according to their models, I couldn't afford it. When I pointed out that I had never been late on a payment and this would be less money for me to pay every month, they just said we have to go by what the computer says. It was infuriating. Then why were they even there? To push the keys like a monkey. The right, or refused right, to repair. Absolute bullshit that I can't fix my own shit. Tried to replace the blower motor on my AC unit in my house. 4 screws to slide it out and a wire harness to unplug. Turns out I need a HVAC license to even buy the replacement. I don't have an HVAC license. I've been turned away at HVAC supply stores but could buy the parts online with no problems. I've gotten a blower motor, fan blades, capacitors, etc. Same, it's the policy of the supply store near me. I ordered the parts online, but have since learned that if you go in with confidence and say it's a cash job you can buy from that store. Not as accepted as it was, but the idea that alcohol is safer than other illegal or recently legalized substances. Yes. The effects of alcohol is constantly downplayed despite being a full-blown toxin to our bodies. And to bodies of others, when drunk driving, inebriation leading to assaults, and just causing people to do more stupid things in groups. It's insane how well that industry buries press about alcohol's link to cancer. Well shit. I just learned, did a quick Google search and right there on the CDC webpage that all alcohol causes cancer. Funny how the news promotes red wine as beneficial in other things but don't mention alcohol in general can cause cancer. I am an occasional drinking, but now might be a rare one. The wine thing was a study that the industry made up and has been disproven. Yep. There was a Professor David Nutt, who was the government's chief drug advisor. He released a paper claiming that alcohol is the most dangerous drug there is. The government sacked him for this. Expensive engagement rings. Diamonds in jewelry in general. Natural diamonds. And for that matter, the cost of lab-created diamonds. The wedding industry in general. Friends of mine spent $50,000 on a wedding and divorced a year later. So they're both still paying off a debt to a failed marriage. Arbitration clauses in almost every service provider contract. Tricking you into giving up your access to the court system. Nobody talks about it, but they should. A lot of employers make you sign arbitration agreements too. Subscription services for fucking everything. It does annoy me. I think Adobe was one of the first to do it. I originally would have paid about £400 for all the software, as a student anyway. That's already a lot. But I owned it all. Now I'm basically paying £600 a year for it. Sure, it might get all the latest updates and features, which are now getting better and better, but it's still a lot. I cancel, I lose everything or have to find an ancient copy of the software. Unfortunately, the fact they can just rake in money now monthly means it's not changing back. The only things this is good for is places that do monthly subscriptions, paying as you go each month. I download as much music/SFX/video clips/templates etc. as I can and make the most of that month of downloads, then I don't need anything else from them for ages, if ever. Luxury skincare. Go to a dermatologist. Pay less. Get real results. Tretinoin and sunscreen, baby. Plus a heavy-duty moisturizer and CeraVe healing ointment for my lips, my derm's most recent recommendation and a godsend. Most high-end skincare contains other components that are also helpful, but A, there's a margin of diminishing returns on price, starting pretty low, and B, you can even purchase the constituent ingredients, for example, squalene, ceramides, hyaluronic acid, AHA/BHAs, etc., in their pure form for quite cheap at this point. That dental isn't part of medical insurance by default. Same with eye care. If I can't see, I can't do anything, and I'm practically blind without my glasses. I'd have died in the era before glasses were invented. Claw machines. I went to the arcade with my daughter and picked up 6 prizes with 6 attempts. Quit while we were ahead, I swear that thing was broken. I won an iPad for my daughter back in the day. It was $10 to play, one attempt, so I normally wouldn't even try for that, but it was her birthday, so I put aside $30 and gave it a try. Got it on my second attempt. That was a $20 iPad. Then the staff didn't know what to do and had to call the manager because no one had ever won that machine. Also, I 100% quit while I was ahead there. No point paying $500 for a $200 iPad. Edit: I didn't make this clear and a few people have asked. The machine had an empty iPad box, so the club had to send an invoice or something to Apple and then they sent me an iPad. No one who was on shift that night knew how to redeem the prize, so they had to call a manager on her home number. Payday loans. Went through a hard time years ago, ended up having no other options to get money but a payday loan. Was stuck in the cycle of pay off loan and take the same amount for another week to get by. For probably close to a month until work picked back up enough and I could pay it off and have some extra to survive till next payday. Never ever again. Ever. Paying hundreds of dollars per month for health insurance and then insurance not paying for anything until you've hit your deductible, usually thousands of dollars per year, and then after hitting your deductible insurance only paying for a certain percentage of your care until the end of the year until your deductible resets and you pay out of pocket all over again until you hit the deductible, and even after hitting the deductible your insurance is fighting tooth and nail not to cover anything. Best part about insurance is when my doctor says I should get something, then some middleman who got a bachelor's in accounting 20 years ago can come in and overrule him. And I pay him for the privilege. Paying tithe to your megachurch. Fair enough if it's a little country church, but fuck the big ones raking in millions. Jesus wants me to have a personal jet. It helps me do the Lord's work. Who are you to say otherwise? Middlemen/brokers eating up the profit and inflating the prices in pretty much every business. Health insurance providers have entered the chat. If you want to see more content like this, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for daily uploads. After you've done that, check out one of our other videos.